What does the big police state really do? You don't want to miss this massive dump of government secrets that shows exactly how the police violate your favorite YouTubers' rights.
Let me explain something to you, man. They're the agents.
On Thursday evening, two subjects approached our officer's traffic stop and was recording him from their cell phone. The officer approached the two subjects and engaged in a conversation about the right for the public to film officers in the course of their duty.
You know that? Are you aware of that? Do you know that? Are you certain of that?
Did I contact you?
No. You're intervening with a police
Right over
investigation.
here on the corner.
You're taking listen to me. You're taking
It's on the corner.
Listen. It doesn't matter if you're on the corner. I don't care if you're across the street.
So I can't film? You're not allowed to film me?
Not while the police are conducting this. The 8th Circuit Court.
The officer referred to the 8th Circuit ruling that it is illegal to record police officers.
Still interfering with the police investigation.
You're leaving me, sir. I didn't say one word.
It doesn't matter. You're filming.
Filming is not interfering.
Yes, it is.
However, the officer wasn't aware at the time that the Supreme Court had overturned that ruling.
You're not allowed to film the police while they're conducting any
Do you know how
police
stupid
matter.
that sounds? You know
It
how
doesn't
stupid
matter.
that sounds?
It doesn't matter how
It's called the
stupid.
First Amendment, freedom of the press, sir.
Right.
You guys need to understand that.
But it's already been ruled in the 8th Circuit.
The conversation was not heated, and the officer kept calm, even though he was being called names. The Blue Line gang has hijacked our anti-terrorism centers to protect bad cops. Howdy, I'm Justin Pulliam. For several years, I've obtained government secrets like many of the police bulletins you see behind me. And last week, the Open Government Organization Distributed Denial of Secrets published over 250 gigabytes of police secrets. With all this information, I'm going to show you what the Big Brother surveillance state has been up to in America. Distributed Denial of Secrets said in a statement, "We trust the public to be responsible with data and open it to them for the rigorous examination of it. Given enough time and data, the truth can always emerge." I couldn't agree more. What moral authority to view information does a government bureaucrat have over the rest of us? The government's using this against us. Only with true and complete transparency can we, the people, take back what is supposed to be our government.
My name's David.
David?
Yes, David.
Last name.
I didn't give it.
And I'd like to know what it is.
I don't want to give it.
Okay.
Okay.
It'll
Well,
be
I mean, you've
it'll
called.
be on the police report.
There won't be a police report.
There will be a police report.
And the reason I won't give you my last name now is because you have called the police, and because they will generate a report. And if they have my last name, that report's going to go to the intelligence officer and then to the Fusion Center.
Yep.
And then the Fusion Center ends up putting me on the terrorist watch list
Yep.
because I take pictures of unusual signs.
Yep.
What a waste. What a waste of money and resources.
In February of 2017, News Now Houston's David Warden exposed the tyranny of the FBI. First, he was detained in McAllen, Texas.
Can you videotape it?
Whatever I see.
What's your name?
I didn't give it.
Security guard called, you walk around looking a little suspicious.
Taking pictures of the American flag.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, no problem. Man, we just gotta come, someone calls, we gotta come check it out, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Alright. Do you have an ID on you, sir, by any chance?
I do, but you said I hadn't done anything wrong.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're a suspicious person, I'm just trying to check it out. Make sure everything's good to go. If everything comes back good, you're good to go with me.
Suspicious person, is that a misdemeanor or felony?
Suspicious person?
Yes.
Neither.
Okay. Am I being detained?
Alright, that's fine.
I am being detained?
At this point, yeah. Just take a few minutes and then we'll decide what's gonna happen, okay? The reason we're stopping you, making contact with you, is because apparently you were taking photos of a federal building.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Could we get a supervisor en route, please?
And just probably gonna come over and talk.
I'm not interested in talking to the agent.
Well, you're not free to go yet.
I got that part. What I haven't got is what crime do you suspect me of committing?
Right now, I don't know, sir. Okay? It came in as a suspicious circumstance.
You guys can't be this dumb.
Okay.
Reasonable, articulable suspicion a crime has been committed or is about to be committed.
Righty. Well, how do I know that? I can just assume, right? It's not good to assume.
You can't assume.
I'm going to let the federal guys come here, talk to you, and they'll take it from there.
And I guess this is going to be our FBI guys.
Yes. You all right?
I was doing all right till you had me detained.
I'm not having you detained.
Sure you are. He's detaining me on your behalf. That's what he said.
Well,
What's your name?
circumstances. You don't know my name, sir.
What's your name?
We got somebody outside filming the building.
Okay. Stop right there. All right, you're here in your official capacity.
Yes, sir.
DOJ policy requires that one of you identify yourself. Otherwise, you're nobody to me.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
Sure, but why would you need a name to file a complaint?
I asked for a name. I think common courtesy dictates that
you get to ask.
give me a name. Just the first name's all I want.
That's not something you're entitled to.
And this is what happened in Brownsville, Texas.
Dueling cameras.
Oh yeah.
like
You a Canon?
Yeah.
It's a Samsung.
Can you read what it says?
Yep.
I see what it says there.
Yeah. Me too.
Can you read what mine says?
Yep. I can. How about you?
Hey, come on, ease up
How
there.
about you?
Back off a little bit.
No, I'm good. How about you?
You're getting too close to me is what you're doing.
No, it's a public property.
It is public property, but I have a right.
know. Don't you love it?
A little bit of personal space,
All right.
please.
That's fine.
Sir, please stop crowding me.
Oh, it's fine.
Sir, you're giving me cause for concern. You're causing me to be
too.
concerned for my safety.
You concern me too.
Sir, please
Hey.
back off.
I'm not backing off.
Please
We're
back
public
off.
property.
Public property, my friend.
What's your name?
Not your business. What's your name?
You gonna stand here and let this agent act like this? What? Take my picture. I don't care.
I will.
You guys got about 100 of them already,
Oh, I know.
so it doesn't matter.
All right. You have a good day, sir.
Okay, so I guess I call DC with my complaint since nobody here wants to take it.
Okay, have a good day.
Who's this? Send me out the supervisory agent here.
Call whatever you'd like, sir.
The video sparked public outcry and embarrassed the FBI, so they issued this bulletin targeting News Now Houston. It says Earl David Warden was observed and confronted for videotaping the FBI offices in Dallas, Houston, McAllen, Brownsville, and personnel movements in and out of the facilities. He may be targeting other local police stations and government agencies. They then try to paint him in the worst possible light, even saying Warden's intent is unknown at this time, and this information is for security awareness only. Even though by that time he had over 150 videos on YouTube and his goals were well known. A month after the FBI's bulletin was issued, News Now Houston went to the El Paso FBI office. There, they seized his camera.
Put the camera down while we're talking to you.
No, sir. Hey, do not touch my camera.
I don't want you
Do
to
not touch my camera.
to what I'm telling
Do not touch my camera.
the
Let
camera-
go of the camera. Let go of the camera.
Physically take it out of your hand.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Eddie, just grab a hold of it.
No, you're not. Do not touch me. Do not touch me.
Then they violently seized his phone.
Again, I get that you...
Do not touch my phone.
your phone.
Do not touch
do
my
not want to
phone.
be struck.
Do not touch my phone. Do not strike me. Do not touch my phone.
No one's going to strike you.
Let
You
me
need to
go.
Calm down.
Let me go.
I have no problem with you filming and exercising.
Well, then why you
the
got my
First Amendment
arm all
right,
bent up around
because
behind my
I don't want
back?
to be struck in the face while we're attempting
I'm not
to talk
striking
to you.
anybody. I've been talking to your guy here for
go of the
30 minutes.
phone.
Ah!
Let go of the phone.
Sir, just put your phone.
Let go of the phone.
Ow!
Let go of the
Assist!
Sir, stop
phone away.
resisting. Lay that on the ground over there.
They claimed to not know who he was or what his intention was, and they eventually arrested him.
Now, do you have any ID on you?
I'm not answering questions.
Sir, again,
Am I being detained?
Yes, absolutely. Because you're being non-compliant, you're being non-cooperative.
I have no obligation
you're
to
not
comply with
listening
anything
to
you
my
tell me.
lawful instructions.
Your instructions are not lawful. I'm
So
not
where do you have
armed.
your ID?
I am not armed.
Where do you have your ID?
I am not armed. Sir, you're injuring my shoulder. I have a shoulder injury.
If you'd stop tensing up, then I won't have to do that.
You have no right to touch me.
Are you David Warden?
You have no right to touch me.
Jeff,
I'm not answering any questions.
It's all right. It's all right. Again, I told you before, I got no problem with your exercising your First Amendment, taking photographs, pictures.
Then why are you
When I
touching
tell
me
you
and grabbing my camera?
to
Get
sit
my
down,
property.
please. Yeah.
Do not touch my cameras. Get my
go ahead and walk over
property.
here
Get my
and sit down.
property and
We'll
take
grab
it
it
over
once you
there.
Start walking.
Get my property and take it over
I don't know
there.
if I don't want to get kicked in the face.
I'm not going to kick you. All right, here. Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll grab it.
I'll kick it over there. I'll kick it over there myself. Do not touch my camera. Do not touch my camera.
Hold still.
Do not touch my camera.
Hold still.
Let go of my camera.
You're being non-compliant again.
That's right, because you have no authority to do what you're
El Paso
doing.
PD to come up.
Please get El Paso PD over here. Do not touch my camera.
After all that ordeal, he was charged with a Class C disorderly conduct, which the El Paso City prosecutor threw out. In fact, now would be a good time to pause this video and leave a comment. What do you think? Was that just ignorant agents taking the bait? Or was that retaliation from the previous audits at FBI offices? The government's own bulletins even say that public videography and photography are constitutionally protected activities. Well, of course they would mark that one out. But nevertheless, their bulletin says the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution protects individuals lawfully present in public places filming or photographing persons, including law enforcement personnel, infrastructure, landmarks, or any other objects plainly visible from these public spaces. Absent additional indicators, filming does not constitute reasonable suspicion or probable cause. It specifically says that an individual conducting photography or videography may not be detained without reasonable suspicion. Officers are advised against seizing cell phones. Fusion centers are spread out across the country. They're local partnerships between police, state police, the FBI, and other federal agencies. They're used to gather, analyze, and distribute information. Of course, they call this intelligence, which is absolutely hilarious. Oftentimes, I'd say it's misinformation at best. Based on my initial research, the BlueLeaks documents consist primarily of bulletins and reports from fusion centers. There are reports like this one, which was issued against James Springer. He goes by James Freeman on YouTube. About a year ago, he was filming a traffic stop near Austin when they pulled a woman and her family out and set them on the curb and tore her car apart. They later let her go.
But go ahead. Just make sure you don't interfere with what I'm doing, okay? Yeah. I don't know what these kids could have possibly done, but almost looks as if the children are detained. So they're checking all the seals, popping the hood, opening every door, looking inside of every nook and cranny. They are really searching this vehicle. I mean, we're rummaging through everybody's personal belongings, suitcases. If this isn't invasive, I don't know what is. So this didn't even have to happen, guys. And if she knew her rights, she could have just told them, no, I'd really just prefer to be on my way.
After he published the video, they issued a situational awareness bulletin saying James Springer, aka James Freeman, is a First Amendment auditor in Texas. He is known to record and live stream encounters with law enforcement throughout Texas. He recently inserted himself during a local traffic stop. Wow.
Where they're kind of in and out.
They issued this bulletin even though they admit that he has no recorded history of violence. And please be sure to subscribe to my channel and enable all notifications. That way you'll know where I go film. You won't have to wait for the Fusion Center bulletin. Fusion centers are post-9/11 entities set up under the Department of Homeland Security. They claim to be for anti-terrorism surveillance and data sharing. It means more government jobs to please the big police lobby. And it's easy work for those assigned. But what happens when there isn't enough terrorism to justify the big budgets and big staffs of these centers? Well, apparently they go after those engaged in constitutionally protected legal activity. Like in this bulletin, they say the goal of the auditors is to elicit a response with the anticipation that their civil liberties will be violated, i.e., the government, the police, being the criminals. It continues that it's an intent of baiting officers to overact. They know that video will often be posted online. They specifically admit in their bulletin that the behavior is not criminal in nature. They claim that they're just providing general information for awareness. In a report from the San Antonio Fusion Center, they claim that the local auditing group is very careful to prepare for audits by knowing all of the penal codes, laws, property boundaries, ordinances, etc. They are also very careful to avoid doing anything that breaks the law and warrants arrest. The reaction they want is a violation of their rights so they can showcase it, humiliate the people involved, and retaliate by filing complaints or pressing charges, and, in turn, blogging, recording, that whole process. Again, the member of the public, they admit, is engaged in constitutionally protected activity, and the bad cops are the ones breaking the law. Suspicious activity reports, or SARs for short, are weapons used to dox journalists, activists, and YouTubers. Numerous SARs are submitted against auditors, even though the federal government's own guidelines tell officers to not submit these reports about innocent First Amendment activity. This FBI and DHS memo says First Amendment protected activities should not be reported in a SAR or ISESAR absent articulable facts and circumstances that support the source agency's suspicion that the behavior observed is not innocent, but rather reasonably indicative of criminal activity associated with terrorism, including evidence of pre-operational planning related to terrorism. In another bulletin, they write, for the benefit of our first responder community in Alabama, the Alabama Fusion Center assesses that potential surveillance by those conducting pre-operational planning for a violent event would most likely try to evade a confrontation with first responders and avoid any type of altercation altogether. This would typically preclude most of the individuals interested in First Amendment audits, as they are more interested in eliciting a response from the first responders that they can then share on social media in an attempt to embarrass the agencies involved. Far from their mission of anti-terrorism, bulletin after bulletin from the Fusion Center demonstrates they perfectly know the intent of First Amendment auditors. In fact, these seem to be more aligned towards preparing a police officer to pass an audit rather than the supposed mission of the Fusion Centers. This one continues that even though it might cause frustration within the first responder community, they encourage everyone to assess the circumstances on a case-by-case basis and evaluate each situation with the free speech rights and applicable laws in mind. How dare law enforcement actually have to follow the law and respect our rights over their feelings? In a bulletin about TX Sheepdog's Jack Miller, they say that he was attempting to videotape a negative police encounter. His attempt to put a department in bad light if possible is seen on his YouTube page. By the way, I have linked in the video description all of the channels that I talk about today on this show. In another one about Miller, they confirmed that he was just exercising his rights and was not a threat. Even so, they still checked with the Fusion Center and showed that he has a history of conducting audits around the city. He has a YouTube channel called TX Sheepdog. The Texas Department of Public Safety responded to that bulletin by publishing a detailed Texas Homeland Security report from their Fusion Center. They say that the Southwest Texas Fusion Center, that's the one in San Antonio, has reported that local amendment activists have called for increased amendment audit activities in the San Antonio area in response to the recent arrest of a local activist during an audit. Who would have thought? They say the audits involve activists deliberately provoking officers and security professionals into interactions to test whether they uphold citizens' rights. Sometimes they encourage others to phone in compliments or complaints. The stated motivations behind these audits vary from the alleged objective interest in free speech and government accountability to a desire to expose law enforcement personnel as incompetent abusers of authority.
How you doing?
Some ID on you?
I do. Have I done something wrong?
Nope, I need to ID you though, to find out who you are. We have a right at this point to identify who you are, since you're out here taking photographs and everything of the police department.
It's a public building, sir.
I understand.
I'm on public property.
I understand. You do not have a choice at this point, and I'm trying to be very respectful. Place him in handcuffs until we get his... But we need to identify you, and since your failure to identify, we need to find out who you are.
Yes,
Failure
sir.
to identify is a criminal offense in the state of Texas.
Yes, sir. 3802 says I only
Yes,
have
sir.
to identify myself if I've been lawfully arrested.
No, sir, it doesn't. Commits an offense if he intentionally refuses to give his name, residence, address, date of birth to a peace officer who has lawfully arrested the person and requested the information.
The officer you just saw is Philip Englishby, and yes, he continues to issue reports about auditors. Rather than a legitimate law enforcement purpose, this bulletin from Texas DPS is obviously to keep officers from failing an audit and embarrassing the Blue Lion. They describe the techniques used and that there's covert cameras and other people filming from the bushes. So, hey, don't abuse someone even if you take and break the camera. You'll still be busted, officer. They say the intention of an audit is to test the officer's use of discretion in collecting personal information or to provoke an arrest. And this next part is my favorite. In addition to doing the videos, it seems the police are mad that they submit open records requests and file complaints and lawsuits against officers and encourage others to submit complaints. The picture on the front is of Bunny Boots Inc. and the picture on the second page is the best. This is helicopter footage. Yes, they sent a helicopter against Philip Turner while he was on an audit. They say the Texas troopers confront a First Amendment activist in Austin. Wow, those brave troopers. Good thing they brought the attack helicopter. And one of those open records requests was the helicopter video.
Austin 7457 just received a call from a state employee who was leaving headquarters by building E. Edward of a black male subject with a camera, seems to be recording. I don't know what it is he's recording. He's on the Denison side near the tracks by the street, wearing gray shirt and black shorts. Austin 100.
Yes, ma'am. Just trying to get a little more information.
Also 100, that's the only information that was given to us by a state employee. Black male, gray shirt, black shorts on Denison Road, right near the tracks along the street with a camera.
And if it's 100, I'll send, we're going to be on scene. Yeah, there were a couple of troopers made contact with an individual, and he's walking down Guadalupe.
You just can't make up the links the police will go to try to shut down the government accountability activists. I shudder to think about how much that helicopter flight must have cost us. Philip Turner is a Battousai on YouTube. He's the Turner and Turner versus Driver. That's a court case where after he was arrested by the Fort Worth Police Department for filming outside a police station, he appealed it to the 5th Circuit Federal Court, and they determined that indeed, we have a right to film the police. All too often, fusion centers are utilized to counter lawful conduct, constitutionally protected activities. It's a violation of our rights. It's illegal, and it has no legitimate public safety purpose. Yet the police continue to misuse public resources to push the police lobby's political agenda. The government is attacking journalists and activists, and they're trying as hard as they can to make sure that the videos you see on YouTube are fake positive fluff that always portray law enforcement in a positive light. It appears they're trying as hard as they can to keep bad cops from failing an audit. This bulletin from San Antonio says the individuals have proven in the past that they will intentionally try to provoke an emotional response from officers or public officials. Far from any legitimate public safety purposes, they tell officers how to counter and stifle the free speech of auditors. They explain how one officer in a video filed a privacy complaint against the owner of the video. They complain that the most popular and aggressive civil rights auditors with the highest followings on social media and with the most profitable donation sites like PayPal and GoFundMe have joined together in recent past to work in the San Antonio area. Oh, wow, I hope I didn't make the police mad, but my donation links are in the video description below. After describing that they're looking for either a positive or negative police encounter to share, they then state that there has been nothing documented by video that shows any other motives for audits at this time. Now that's the picture you'd expect to see on a Fusion Center memo, right? In this one out of the Austin Regional Intelligence Center, they say that audits are an obvious attempt to confront officers and try to get them to say something or violate their rights on camera. Officers are reminded to follow policies and procedures regarding individuals filming and are encouraged to review state laws specifically regarding fail to identify. Patrick Roth, he has a channel News Now Patrick, is one of the more highlighted auditors in these bulletins. In a 10-page intelligence report issued by St. Louis in December, he was the only one with a full page. And it's obvious that they spent a lot of time surveilling him. They even went through his Facebook, and in red they say his Facebook has multiple anti-Leo stories and references to use of force cases from across the nation. Not that he wrote something, not his comments, not his post, but they're documenting what things he shares. That's how bad the Big Brother police state is getting. They found out via social media that his girlfriend is Miss Selena. The analyst said to please familiarize yourself with his information to prepare for his presence. They even admitted that they identified him using a Kansas City Police Department bulletin that was circulated in 2018. These bulletins are often used to foil audits. Yes, many of the videos you see on YouTube are fake.
How you doing, man?
All right, how you doing?
Good. Is there anything we can help you with?
No? No questions.
And it's within us, right? So it'd be causes a disturbance, right? Anything about what it's about, so I can try and help you. Okay.
Is there a problem with me recording?
See ya.
When Judo Johnny went to San Mateo, a police officer quickly recognized him from an all-points bulletin put out by another police department. They ran a records check and called over to the other city, got the case report, and made a positive identification. They determined that he was clear of any warrants, so they couldn't take him down that day.
That's fine. Thank you so much.
Oh, look, a Camback. Can I get your name and badge number, officer?
Yeah, Officer Garcia, badge number 4.
In fact, it's clear that they tried really hard to shut him down. They did a countywide record search, found nothing. They share negative information about him, and then they say that you can search his YouTube and find him on Judo Johnny.
Hi, sir.
How's it going?
How can I help you?
Oh, I don't need no help.
You just asked the one of our clerks said if you could speak with her.
Yeah, I need to ask her a question.
Well, I can help you.
I was just asking for a complaint form.
Okay. What's it regarding?
May I get your name and badge number? Your name's kind of blocked.
It's Colin.
Colin, and your badge number?
Right there, 61.
Okay, cool.
They say Johnny left on his own after requesting and obtaining a citizen's complaint form.
She's saying I can't record here?
You can't zoom in on a private citizen when he's got a complaint. It might be something private, it might be something that you don't. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for being professional.
We always are here.
Hundreds of bulletins are sent to help prepare police to look good on YouTube. Is that why we pay millions of dollars each year for government intelligence centers? After being audited, police often scramble to alert other agencies, so they'll make the blue line look good on film. As soon as News Now Houston left, Captain Brandon Harris sent an email to local, state, and federal law enforcement officers. I just wanted to let as many agencies as possible know that an individual came to our PD parking lot taking pictures in an effort to bait an officer into a confrontation. He was with News Now Houston, white male in a gray hoodie with jeans.
Clay County Sheriff's Office, this is Austin. Hey, it's Austin at the Blue Police Department. Yes, sir. Hey, I was going to give you a heads up. There may be a guy coming over there. I don't know if he will or not. His name is James Springer. He's one of those cop block videoers or whatever. Okay. But he was here for about 30 minutes. We dealt with him, so he's not pleasant. He's just looking to get a rise out of somebody. Okay. So I'm just going to give you all a heads up. He's one of those, I know my rights and all that, so.
After 303 Cop Block did an audit in Colorado, the agency sent along the video links and said this is just for situational awareness, not from an intelligence point of view, and that this is no effect on our day-to-day operations, just wanted to pass it along. Of course, when it gets there, they say, hey, team, please submit this into the Suspicious Activity Report database.
So I wouldn't mind it if you would please step back from
Yeah,
the
no,
okay?
we'll be
Because this
happy.
is clearly the private property. Then once you're here, they can ask you to leave.
Where is it posted?
Trespassing from their property, I'd understand it, but I didn't think we were getting trespassed, were we?
Well, not yet. I mean, they have that
Okay,
option.
well,
Right now, they just asked that you step across the street is all it is.
Okay, well.
That's where we're at right now.
So I guess we'll go ahead, even though we're not being trespassed, we'll go ahead and get off of this public lot here that's outside of the fence.
Alright, this concludes part 1. There's a lot more to this story, and part 2 will be coming soon, so be sure to subscribe and enable all notifications. Thanks for watching, and always film the police.